Hey, hi everybody. Hi Sydney. Hi Roman. Hey, I like that shirt, boy. I tell you, that's nice. I'm gonna have to make you a new one. I got those too far apart, didn't I? Yep, that's all right. Hey, I'm still getting better at it. Okay, so nice shirt, Sydney.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Wow, what a show we have today. And I'm monitoring. I had some internet issues when we were in our setting things up, and so I'm monitoring to see if I freeze up here again. So, and there's a 4 second delay, by the way, from StreamYard to mine. That's pretty good. Wow, mentoring a mentor dog. Does anybody ever think they have a mentor dog? You bring a new dog in the home, your dog teaches the rules and stuff. All right. Well, that may not be a mentor dog. It could be getting you in trouble too, um, but not always. So, and then if there's time, we're going to cover something that we just got to cover this. Don't put a shock collar on an LGD, okay? Period. All right. So that takes them out of the equation. They don't have any say anymore. Okay. But we're going to go into that. Roman's got a lot of information to share on that, and he's not going to slam anybody. Well, he may, but he's not intentionally going to slam anybody. We're going to educate, and and we're going to show you that they're not necessary. Okay. And but anyway, we're going to move on because I'm excited with for our first guest. Um, I can't even call him an honorary peer because let's just watch the video. Okay, where is that young man? There he is.
Well, he's busy with his bone.
I thought he couldn't see. How does he know where that bone is?
He's so smart. He can feel and smell.
Okay, now he's got an interesting story on how you even got him, doesn't he?
And Poppy's. This is Poppy. She's going to try to take his bone, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I see.
She is all sweet, except when it comes to that bone. It's sad, but that's how it is here. I was on the way to take my son to school, and I saw him in the middle of the street, busy street, but I thought it's morning. Maybe he got out, there was tons of people. So I thought somebody's probably looking for him. So I'm on the phone. So by the time that I, had dropped them off, everything, I said, if he's still there, I probably, so I picked him up and he was, no one, there was no tags, no chip, no nothing. We took him to the vet, checked everything. But it was a very busy street and there was obviously, some struggles with him seeing because he was in the middle of the street. And the animals are usually, typically they don't go in the middle of the street unless they have to. And so, my son was like, "Yeah, mommy, save him, save him." I said, "Well, get your sandwich out in case I need it, and you can eat the school food today." Me a sandwich. They don't like to eat the school food, and I said, "Okay, well, if he's there, I'll get him." And so I used the sandwich.
So he's your dog.
Well, he is, but I can't foster.
But he's being
right.
But their GPRS is doing a courtesy post.
Yes.
Is that what they call it?
Yes. I mean, I just couldn't see a dog,
no,
struggling like that. I can't. My husband isn't as passionate about saving all the animals, so I can't adopt. But I am allowed, or we've agreed that it's fair to foster when we can.
Right. And I appreciate your husband going along with that part. So
yeah, when we first met years and years ago, he said there will never be a dog that lives in my house. And I'm like, yeah, good luck.
Oh, he's that much of a not a dog person.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
He just didn't grow up with, he didn't know them. And now we have a new dog every week almost. So,
Yeah. But you don't have a foster right now other than Alfie, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Alfie is our foster.
Now he's called an honorary peer for a reason, isn't he?
Yes. He doesn't know he's not a peer. So no one, say it too loud. He's happy right now with his bone.
I won't tell him because his hearing's probably better since he can't see.
Yeah, he does know his name. But he does everything like a peer. And, I was a little nervous. I fostered, probably 100 dogs in my day, different breeds, not just peers, but I've never had like a husky looking type of dog. Mm-hmm. And not that any dog is bad, but I've seen videos where they're very vocal and very energetic. And I was like, oh no.
They're bred to pull the sled at full speed, okay?
Yeah. Not only is that hard because I have little kids, but like my dogs are pretty lazy. Like they're loungy, right? So I thought, oh no. But he has adopted the lifestyle of a loungy guy. He likes to lay around. He doesn't really bark, even when the dogs bark. He's not a big barker.
Okay. Yet they're teaching him. I saw a video.
I don't know. Not much. And
in fact, I can play that video while you talk because I took the sound out of it. Okay.
Well, and he clearly is deriving all of this comfort from being near them, in their presence.
He loves them.
He's even looking. Look at that. He's even looking.
Yeah. He knows, I know this is like a big goal and like a big dream, but my goal, I would love him to be adopted with a peer. If anyone's looking,
you've got a good chance of that.
I don't know. I hope so because
he's with. GPRS is listing him. You've got a pretty decent chance.
It's really his happy. I mean, he likes me, but he loves them. Like they are his. I have boys, and it's like my younger son. He idolizes his older brother, and that's how Alfie is. He just he's around Archie. I'm going to try to get a video of this for you guys too. But when Archie goes to the water bowl, Alfie drinks at the same time. I'm like, okay, really? Your stomach knows you're thirsty. You don't have to be thirsty just because.
Maybe Archie invited him.
Well, and Archie and Pierre, they all have their own personality, but they're pretty, go with the flow, and Archie doesn't care. Archie and Poppy are both like, whatever, he's our little brother. We have to let him drink the water when we drink the water, They are the perfect peer partner for someone that really wants that older, sibling.
And and if they have a peer, that dog can pick up where Archie leaves off.
Yeah.
And there is white in Alfie, so he could be a pure mix, right?
He loves a big pillow. He wants a big pillow to lay on. He needs a
you missed last week's show, okay? That show covered about not using Great Pyrenees as pillows, and here we are.
Well, here we are. I mean, I think it's approved when it's your sibling, right? It's
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
when, especially when the dog approves of the dog laying
Yes.
on him,
yes,
I think
and I
we're
do
good to
think
go.
that I've always, and I don't want to speak for every peer, but mine at least, they just have this. Even Archie, which I've not always seen in the male dogs, he's like very motherly but fatherly, right? Like very like
He's very
protective.
nurturing.
He's very nurturing and he's very patient. Even sometimes I can tell, like, okay, he's really tired. He wants to snooze. He just channels his inner, responsible. Like, I've got to take care of him. So
Yeah.
they're just the best.
Shay, I told Steve before the show started that I'm going to have to try really hard not to adopt Alfie because he's really
don't try that hard.
She has peer. Yeah, she has a peer.
Because here's my Pyrenees. It's not a pillow. That's Mortimer.
Okay, that's a perfect size pillow for Alfie.
Yeah. Mortimer's a big boy too.
Yeah, Archie is too. He really he cuddles more with Archie. I think Archie's softer. So
Oh, you mean like this with the paw in the face?
Yeah.
Did you relay my message to Alfie and told him I feel his pain? Because I get that every night.
Yeah. He doesn't find it painful. He loves it. So.
So Shay, Alfie looks pretty tall. Actually, he looks like tall and lean. He's got a long tail and.
Yeah, he's not huge. I mean, I'm so skewed. I don't know if you guys find yourself in this position sometimes when you're around different breeds and people are like, your dog's huge. And I'm like, is he? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's so normal. But Alfie is probably like, I would compare to like a normal sized Labrador or non-fluffy husky, really. Like he's kind of perfect. He, I can lift him like Archie, my boy, I can't lift. Right? I can't lift if I have to, but Alfie I can lift in and out if I have to, and he's a perfect size.
So he and you told me earlier that he goes on walks and he walks really nicely on a leash. And so are you taking him with at least one of your other dogs when you take him on a walk? Do you take him with both of your dogs?
Well, it's a lot, right? So the only time I walk all three so I take them a lot to the dog park because then I can just kind of, let them, and his temperament, he's never been aggressive. He doesn't have a mean-spirited bone in his body ever, even when, some of the little dogs at the dog park are kind of like checking him out. But anyways, on a leash, when I have all three of them, my husband has to walk one dog at least because I wear the thing that, goes around your waist.
Oh. Okay.
But Archie is just so strong naturally. I can only do him and one other dog. And so but, he walks really nicely. Obviously, he needs some guidance, but I mean, that's most dogs will just, but he walks. He's very calm. My husband always says, my husband, like, he doesn't love to go on walks, right? He's not loving the Texas summer. So he's like, I want the calmest one. And I give him Alfie. He is the calmest one. He's like the easiest. Yeah. The peers are kind of sometimes looking for the squirrel or the possum in the neighborhood, and Alfie's just like happy to walk. He's like, whatever, I don't care.
Now, is that Archie closest to us?
That's Archie. That is who Alfie idolizes, and he would like his very own Archie.
Okay, so you hear that? There you go, everybody. If you've got an Archie, doesn't have to be named Archie, but if you have an Archie,
you have a big teddy bear.
Because if I'll tell you, if Alfie was a Great Pyrenees, it would sound like he'd be the perfect pair.
Yeah, he is really a perfect. I was nervous because I took him to the vet that very first, time I got him, and they were like, "Oh, he's really young," and I was like, "Oh no,
what have I done?"
No, the foster coordinators know. Like, I don't do puppies. I do senior. I like the older dogs. I like senior dogs.
Oh, seniors are the greatest.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, but honestly, he's perfect. He has great house manners. He doesn't really get into too much trouble. He, we keep Bones around so he can he's young, but he just chews on his little toys or he carries his babies around. We call them his babies. And he's really, for a 1-year-old dog, I'm like, oh, maybe puppies have changed. I don't know. Like, is it just him or all puppies still behaved? I don't know.
And
This lady in Colorado bought her dog a puppy just because she was having issues
Oh,
with the Pyrenees, so she bought her a puppy. You
That
know,
is so
yeah, that is
wonderful.
special. So good thing it didn't turn
needed a
out the puppy
baby.
being the squeaky toy, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So Shay, do you lift him up and put him in the car, or has he had enough experience? Okay.
He gets out. I mean, I could probably teach him, but I mean, I'm getting 3 of them in the car, so I'm just like doing what works. And he gets out himself, and he, you know, at the dog park, he's wonderful. He really kind of, honestly, it's interesting. As much as he loves Archie, at the dog park, he does stay more towards me. I think it's just his comfort.
Sure.
Dogs,
Good.
You know,
that's what you
Archie's
want.
off doing his thing, you know. He's like Mr. Whatever, gotta pee on everything. And so Alfie kind of stays. I mean, he's really like a loving, sweet, I want to be near you kind of dog. Typically, if we're home, he wants to be near one of the peers. But like out and about, he always is like, he's very in tune with the family. I have little kids too, and I mean, they're loud. I mean, I have boys, like they're loud. It's like football every day. Like someone's flying.
So you have 2 boys, 2 young boys, and a puppy.
He is not disturbed by the noise or any, like, I remember the first time the RoboVac went on, and I was like, oh, let's see what he thinks. He literally didn't even move when it like up to him. He's like the most chilled out 1-year-old. I'm like, there's no way, this dog is perfect. So.
All right, before we move on, I don't want Kara to leave with Fiona because we want to see Fiona too. I just have a simple little question.
Yeah.
Does your chest of drawers have drawer fronts or mirrors, or is he sleeping in your chest of drawers?
He is not sleeping in. He sleeps on that bed. He loves that little dog bed with that pillow, and it faces a mirror dresser.
Okay. All right. I love that picture. But my favorite picture of any picture I've seen in a long, long time is the one of him and Archie right there.
Yeah.
You know,
and I love those great big radar ears. I just can't get enough.
He may not grow into those either. You never know.
It's too much. And, you know, Archie's, you can't tell from this picture, and he's taking a nap. We won't wake up the bear, but his paws are huge. I mean, just even for peers, he has bear paws, and they lay there and they play footsie, and then they take a nap, and then they play footsie. Yeah, there you go. And he had the cone of shame there. Don't show that picture. He'll be upset.
I was going to ask you why he had the cone on.
No, we don't want to talk about it.
Okay, we won't then. We don't talk about it then.
He doesn't.
You're the boss.
Embarrassed. He's very. He had a depressive episode because he had to wear that. He was so mad at me.
Oh,
but
yeah.
They just play footsie. He's playful, but I will say he's not wired. Like, I was really like, oh my gosh, a 1-year-old is going to be wired. They play footsie, then they sleep, so he would love a peer companion.
How long has he been there?
About a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
He may not be wired because he's not settled in yet, possibly.
I
don't know. I'm not there.
I think he's settled.
Okay.
He knows the schedule, and he's all settled, and
awesome.
He likes, now he likes.
And you can't hardly tell. And you can hardly tell he's blind.
You can't like, people at the dog park don't know until I tell them, and they're like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Well, he has an appointment."
So you didn't know this until the vet told you?
No, I knew. You could tell.
You knew something was wrong.
I knew something wasn't right, and I haven't had it. I've taken him to a regular vet. They kind of said, yeah, he's probably very impaired. He has a specialist appointment next week. We couldn't get him in, but okay. I don't think there's like anything immediately we can do, but he's very smart. He uses his senses all the time. And
so there's not much hope of regaining vision.
Right? I would say no, but honestly,
That's why you're going to a specialist.
We're going to a specialist. I don't think there's much hope, but truly, he is a very happy dog. He lives a very full life, and it doesn't I can't think of one thing.
Well, that's because nobody told him he was blind. He doesn't know.
It doesn't restrict him from doing anything that the other 2 dogs do. I mean, he does.
Woman's raising his hand.
Oh, yeah.
Dogs don't see only with their eyes.
Yes, exactly.
This is true.
They see also with their nose. They have a kind of a thermosensory, so they can recognize object called a worm, and so if he sees another dog being a worm object, he knows exactly what it is. He may not recognize the dog, but he recognizes it's something that he's familiar with
Well, that
based on that
nose, well, their
temperature
nose
shape.
does a lot. Their taste buds are in
Yeah.
there, and they're everything. Yeah.
And they have like little tiny, the whiskers. And the one thing I was nervous about, just because my dogs are they're not real food aggressive, but like they don't want people
They
in their
guard their food. I
bowl.
mean, that's vital to their survival.
Exactly. So I was nervous that like I would have issues feeding them. Literally day one, he knew where his food bowl was. He knew, and even sometimes still he tests about, like he'll go up to Archie's if Archie hasn't eaten all his food, and I'm like, no, that's not your bowl, and he'll walk. So I mean, they're just truly, they're so smart. They have so many more, other senses than just their eyes.
Right.
He's not
Okay.
limited anyway.
Wow, Shay, thank you so much for bringing him on. And if you still got him in a couple of weeks, let's get him back on. Let's keep getting him out there until he gets adopted, get some exposure.
Yes, he is wonderful. My kids will be very upset, and they're so used to me fostering that they
Well,
don't.
yeah, you want to keep fostering because there's still a lot of dogs out there.
But they never asked to keep them. They never, because they just know I have to help all the dogs. But they said, "Mommy, he's so wonderful."
But you do have an ace in the hole, possibly. Sydney is falling in love.
Yeah, he's right here.
Well, yeah. Love them.
He's right
So,
there.
all right, Shay, thank you
He's the
so
perfect
much.
man in any woman's life.
Yeah. Well,
I believe
you truly did save a life there. There's no doubt.
Well, we try. We try to do our part, right?
Because he was wandering in the street, right?
It's a hard thing, right?
So, wow. Next up, I'm going to take you down to the green room as soon as the video comes
Thank you
up.
so
That way
much,
you
Shay.
that way
Thank
you
you
can
guys
exit
for all that
gracefully.
you do.
Hey, thank
Oh my
you for
gosh,
all
what's
you
that
do.
there in the background? Snoozing.
Oh, Mortimer's awesome.
I was hoping he would wake up, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's not looking like that's gonna happen.
It's hard being a senior. He needs his
He's
rest.
got a pretty sweet bed, so
Yeah.
Well, I always
I was going to say, I like that.
when you're that gorgeous, something has to feed into that, right? You need all that sleep to just prove that beauty. That's what I tell my husband about art. He's like, well, they're so lazy. I'm like, well, you don't look like that. You don't know how much that takes to get that way.
Okay, so wow, Shay, nice work. So
Thank
good
you.
work.
Thank you.
Next
guys.
up, we have a dog that I don't understand why she's not adopted yet.
no, we have no
What's going
idea.
on here? I mean, it's Fiona. We'll just play her video and we'll take Shay down and bring Kara up. And there she is again. Hi, Fiona. Oh, well, hi, Kara. Sorry, you're muted. You got to unmute. You got to unmute yourself. You've been here before. You know the drill. You just muted yourself again. There you go. Now don't touch. Hi, Kara. Nice to see you again. It's been a what? A month?
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Look at her. Boy, look at her. This girl is just amazing. There's your perfect hair.
She's a very good
so
girl.
pretty.
So why is she not adopted?
I don't know.
Okay, that answered that. Have a good day.
I know she's had applications. They've fallen through. Not her fault. Nothing to do with her. So I guess that just means that the right family is still out there and hasn't found her yet.
How old is she?
We're gonna guess 2.
So she's young.
Yeah, she's fairly young, but she doesn't act like a puppy. She doesn't have.
I know. I read that. I also saw a video where I heard you saying that Steve wanted more footage, and this is all she does is just comes up and sits.
Yeah.
I love it. And then you know what? I've got that video up here too, but I did take sound out of it, so it won't mute us that way. I like this video. What's going on in this video? It's a 2-second video.
That's it. I was trying to get a video of her doing anything, but it's hard because she just wants to come over.
She just wants to do that. This is the video I was talking about where you were.
Yeah. If I want her to go out to the backyard to use the bathroom or just to spend some time and, sniff around, I can't be out with her. Because if I am, she's just going to be with me.
What do you see there, Roman? I see a dog that needs a human right now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow, she's gorgeous too. So
she's a really beautiful.
Or is it sorry, Sydney, go ahead.
Yeah, she's pretty clean, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But she has like a really nice mane right here. I can tell from that side view of her.
Yeah, she had a litter of puppies when I got her. Like the puppies were starting to go to their homes. So she was still pretty thin, and her coat is growing back in. She's gained weight. She, I think, is probably at the weight she needs to be right now. And she's definitely starting to get her hair back. She's filling out. She's filling out a lot. So she looks quite a bit different than she did when we first got her.
Okay.
Wow. So she's a dog that could be an only dog.
I think she would be great as an only dog, just because she is not super interested in our dog. She doesn't want to play with him. She hasn't wanted to play with
Maybe
any
that's
dog.
just him.
No. He likes to play. And when we first got her, he tried to initiate play, and she wasn't having any of it. She'll play with her toys on her own sometimes. I can't get involved. If I do, that's the end of the playtime.
Because now she'll come to you.
Yeah. And she's just like, well, what do I do with this? I don't know what to do with you playing with my toys.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that she knows she has you to turn to. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And she'll bow. She'll do like the play bow to her toys. But
Wow.
not to
the cutest.
Not to a dog.
Wow. And she's not a big barker?
She is not. She rarely ever barks. Not never, but she rarely ever barks. I mean, honestly, I couldn't count the number of times she's barked, on one hand.
So it's got to be something serious if she's going to bark.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's not going to just
bark just 6 blocks away that she can't see.
She's not going to bark at a leaf falling or anything like that. It does have to be pretty serious for her to bark.
And then if a bird knocks a leaf out of the tree, holy crap, the whole neighborhood's going.
Yeah, that's what. And our peer does the same thing. He barks, and she doesn't get involved. She just lets him do his thing.
Interesting.
Wow. So wow, that's interesting.
So she, as you mentioned, is pretty focused on you, on people. Yeah. Do you think that has she been introduced to younger children? I mean, do you think that it might be better to have older, teens and adults in the home because of the level of connection that she needs with her humans?
We've been around younger kids, like elementary school aged, and she's been fine with them, but it's like neighbor kids when we're on a walk, who
Okay.
will want to come over and see her and pet her, and she's fine. She's fine
Okay.
with them. And because she doesn't really play with people, she's not going to bounce into them and try and play with them and knock them over.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So she might
So
be.
younger children could be in the equation.
Yeah, I think it would be possible. Yeah,
Okay.
It's case by
Good.
case, right?
definitely.
Yeah, and remind us, she ignores your cats, but just remind us kind of
Mhm.
like how, like what she's like around them.
Yeah, she ignores them. She does not care about them. And she's laying down. I don't know if I can get her to actually yeah, she doesn't. There she is. She doesn't care about the cats. One of our cats in particular is obsessed with dogs. And I think he thinks he's a dog. So he will get in her face and go and sniff her ears. And she's fine with all of that. We've only ever had an issue one time. And that was because the cat hurt her. The cat was playing with her tail and I think got his claws into her tail. And even then it was just a warning, like, hey, back off. And that was it.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
she's a really, really easygoing girl.
Now I've got a complicated question for you then. What would her perfect home look like?
I think her perfect home would be one where she can really be a focus and she can get a lot of
She
attention.
gets all the attention.
She wants the attention. Like she's like shoving her hand or her head under my hand right now to get me to pet her.
Is it insecure? Is that what she's doing here? What do you think?
I think she is insecure, and I also think she was neglected of human companionship, and now
She could be making up for lost time.
making up for lost time. And now that she has it, I think she is a bit desperate for it.
Gotcha.
So
Or
she's
afraid to lose it.
afraid. Yeah, exactly. That's a better way of putting it. Yeah, she's afraid to lose it. So if she sees it, she wants it, and if there's an opportunity for her to get affection, she wants it.
I mean, that could slow down a little bit when she realizes that it's going to continue to happen for her.
Yeah, I would hope so. We've only had her for maybe 3 months. So, and it's definitely gotten, I mean, we were talking about this off camera, but it has gotten a little bit better, and she has kind of learned, and we're going to keep working on it with her to get her to understand that it can't always be about her.
Right.
Like
we're going to teach her space, Roman, to respect space.
Yeah, like sometimes.
Go ahead. Roman wants to have an interjection here, and I want to listen because I always learn something every time Roman talks.
Insecure attachment looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The dog wants to connect. She doesn't know how to connect. She gets anxious if she's not connected.
Mm-hmm.
So setting boundaries can be a little bit problematic because the dog may take it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
But we can build it up around teaching her time and distance, that she cannot have affection right now, but she can have affection later if she learns how to wait for the next time. And also she can learn how to have a role play by teaching her her name. So you can use your husband or your boyfriend or your kids or whoever you have his name. You grab some popcorn. Everybody loves popcorn. One name and popcorn, another name and popcorn. She learns that if a name doesn't come, treat doesn't come. So now we can give affection to the person and then say her name and then give affection to her. Right. If she tries to push it, you put your hands away, but don't turn your back.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because that will cause anxiety.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So her feeling insecure and doesn't know how to express her insecurity is what leads often to fights when dogs go and fight about that spot that they have secured, that little safety they feel they don't want to share with anybody else.
Okay.
So, and that falls under too the this is where that 333 document could get people in trouble. Okay. because time has nothing to do with this. She's the timer,
Mm.
and it's events that she meets. So, wow, what an amazing dog!
She
But
is.
she's
She's
highly
such a-
adoptable, right?
She's sorry.
She's highly adoptable.
Yeah, I mean, she's good. She can be left alone at home. I mean, we go
Oh,
to
wow.
work and she's here and she's fine. She's house trained. She's super easy to walk on a leash. She's really, really good with it. And I mean,
Wow.
this was just how she was from the time that we got her. She's
Oh,
just,
so she already was good on the leash when you. So
Yeah,
somebody
she
taught
is.
her.
Somebody taught her, or I just like to think that she's naturally gifted.
Oh, she doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to get too far away from you, maybe.
No, not really. And she doesn't pull. We have like rabbits in our neighborhood. It's the weirdest thing in our like very close to the city, suburban neighborhood, but there are bunnies everywhere. And she doesn't really go after. Every now and then she'll be like, "Oh, bunny," but no, she just kind of looks at them and is like, "Okay," and keeps
What
going.
about squirrels?
She's never really reacted to a squirrel at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I might want her.
She's very good and she's available.
Yeah, because Sydney's already got dibs on Alfie, so I guess I would have. I'm stuck with
But
Fiona.
yeah, I mean, I think we often have people who have cats, and maybe their dog recently passed away, and so they're looking for another one, and they, and people get nervous sometimes when they only have a cat and they want to adopt a dog, and so that, I mean, that element of how lovely she is extremely desirable.
Oh.
So, I'm sure that she's
Agreed.
just, once somebody adopts her, they are just going to be over the moon about how wonderful she is, especially with that. So, I just want to kind of put a plug for that because, we have a lot of people who have large dog experience, but maybe they just don't have a large dog right now, or maybe they just are a one dog home, but they have a cat or two, and really miss having a big dog around to love on. And Fiona's the kind of dog that she wants to be adored and adore.
Look at
her
that
person.
face. I mean, look at her.
She's
Yeah.
very cute.
Jesus.
She's very cute.
Yeah, she's beautiful. How much does she weigh?
I haven't weighed her since she's gained weight. I'm gonna guess probably about 75.
Oh, so she's not a very big one.
She's not the biggest that we've had. No. She's still kind of tall and lanky a little bit. Yeah.
Now, if you ask Fiona, she's the best looking one you've ever had, right?
Her tail, she has got the longest tail, I think, of any peer that we've had. It's not really showing there, and she's very happy. So her tail is always wagging.
Wow.
That might be her one problem feature is that you have to watch if things are on like the coffee table because she'll just knock them over with her tail.
I bet it's kind of a pain in the butt to brush that tail too, isn't it?
She's okay for the brushing. She's okay.
And how she was, I was going to ask you about that. How she do with brushing and maybe nail trimming if you do that.
So I haven't actually trimmed her nails. I did just trim her feet the other day.
Oh, the fur?
The fur.
Around her feet, yeah.
Yeah, because she's got the little Grinch feet. Actually,
That happens.
So we had to trim them. I think I got about 3 feet done before she said no. So there's one foot that's undone, but
And when she said no, you stopped, right?
Yeah. So, but she was just laying down. She laid down for me. She let me hold her foot. She let me trim. But yeah, by the time we got like halfway through the 3rd foot, and she was like, "No more, thank you." So we stopped.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. So Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. That's where Fiona's at. That's where it's happening.
Adopt her.
Adopt her. Yeah. Because Kara's got to save another dog.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because when you adopt a dog, that opens Kara up to foster. They'll bring one out of their headquarters, and then headquarters can take 1 or 2 more out of the shelter now.
Yep. You're saving a life.
Because everybody's full. And
very
that's
much.
sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Thank you, Kara. Can you stay for the rest of the show? I forgot to ask you earlier.
Yeah, sure.
All right, because
Thank you,
Roman's got a good
Kara.
topic coming up. I think. You remember what we was talking about? Oops, sorry, Kara, I didn't mean to do that to you.
We're going to talk about mentor dogs.
It's okay.
Mentor dogs. Are they really mentors?
Great question. First of all, let's clarify that a mentor dog is not the pack leader.
Well,
People
they're
get
not pack
confused.
animals.
They're social animals, that put it correctly. We are social animals, but we are not pack animals.
We're the pack.
Sorry, what?
I said, we're, never mind, just go.
And so what we're looking for, if we want, let's call it technical support of a dog in a group of more dogs, we would need a dog. I would love to have a dog, but I don't have one. I used to have one who was, in that case, a mentor dog, who was able to read the room, was able to understand context, and was able to find the less invasive way to interrupt and intervene if necessary, and didn't get himself in trouble. And he knew how to approach each individual dog and go to that level that a dog needed to shift. So we see that some dogs who have this capacity of emotional intelligence and being able to read emotional cues and have the ability to self-manage their own feelings and not getting them involved, that will be, from my perspective, a good mentor dog that will teach another dog skills. However, I would not let a mentor dog take over my dogs.
Oh no.
Right? Because I want the dogs to feel safe around humans, especially if I'm in foster or in a training setting. I want the dog to bond with humans first, so the connection happens. And then I will throw him to the dogs, to my mentor dog, so he can do the finishing.
Right.
And the reason why I would do...
We don't want to put the new dog with the mentor dog too soon either.
Correct. Because, even though mentor dogs are intelligent and have bigger concepts, they may not know the history of the dog that we want. And the dog, we cannot expect a dog morality to that level that humans have. So if I want the dog to be adopted out, I want the dog to have certain traits, certain skills, certain knowledge that he doesn't get from my mentor dog, but he gets from my perspective.
Right.
But the little detailing and the, let's call it the micro feedback, a dog do just well if he has those skills. So when I say micro feedback, is this little detail that does the difference. So some of you may notice that I moved my finger. Did you notice which finger it was? A mentor dog will see that micro movement and interrupt, because that would be a key to something else. An FBI agent would exactly look at those micro signals.
Great Pyrenees may not necessarily be a lot of them may not necessarily be mentor dogs in that respect, because if they see my finger move, they could care less.
Right, unless your little finger moves towards the treat bag.
Right, that is correct, yeah.
Right. So, however, we have to see that herding dogs and guardian dogs are more likely to be good mentors than other dogs. Because they have the self-confidence that needed to intervene and interrupt, but also they have this emotional capacity to be able to read the room and pay attention to little details. Plus, they recognize emotional change, which is what we want. Does it mean that the dachshund...
Roman, I'm bringing a comment up, but that's for Kara and Fiona, and I missed it. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you know what was happening so you didn't start focusing on it.
Right. Squirrel. So
I'd love to have Fiona.
Can we train a dog to be a mentor dog? You can support a mentor dog to become a better one, but I don't think you can train one to be one, because you cannot train a person to become a firefighter if he doesn't have service to others mindset.
That's right.
Right? And you cannot teach a priest to become a priest if the person doesn't have, the stuff that the priest need. So
even out in the fields, when they get a young Great Pyrenees and they're getting ready to put them in the fields, they can't trust them alone. They
Right.
have experienced dogs, and that's their word is experienced dogs out in the fields, not mentors. They don't call them mentors.
Now, we have seen in social media a particular dog or particular video that there's a big tough dog, we don't even say the names, that takes care of business. I would say that kind of behavior is just rude and a bully who doesn't have emotional regulations. That dog would be basically doomed to be out of the group because I would not tolerate that kind of behavior.
Right.
And we only see pieces of the videos, we don't see the entire context. But this dog is violent, and violent dogs should not be mentor dogs because all they teach is violence.
Right.
So I would not recommend to put a dog with severe behavior issues becoming a mentor dog because it's tougher and stronger than the other ones. It's just a thing to disaster.
Now, I have a belief. Now, this is just my belief. I believe that just because a mentor dog mentors one doesn't mean he will mentor the next one. That's
Great. I'm totally right. We have to see that a mentor dog in that case, which is a human construct, right, can only mentor another dog who is being followed by that dog. Okay?
Right.
You cannot have a
right.
teacher if no children are paying attention to the teacher. The job description doesn't make you a teacher.
Yeah, there's two things that have to come into play.
Right.
First, the
So,
receiving
I would
dog
say-
has to be wanting to be mentored to start with.
So we have to see the relationship structure. We can see that the dog who wants to learn will connect and build a relationship with a dog who's more experienced. That doesn't make him a mentor dog as much, just make a dog who is more knowledgeable. And so we have this need of the dog to follow that guy who knows more, but I want all of them at the end to follow one person who will be the guardian in that case.
Mhm.
So we see the dogs create those dyads. The one who wants to learn pairs with the one who has that knowledge, and they then pair to another one. So we can see there is a hierarchy of relationships happening, which one at the end is the one who's the most connected to the person, and everybody follows. That will be eventually the mentor dog if that dog is able to work on that level.
Right. And the more, like foster homes, the more they bring foster dogs in and they have one, the better chance they have of that, if they have a mentor, of continuing to mentor the new dogs. I hear all the time with the foster homes with GPRS, oh, my dog is experienced foster now. Okay, so he does well. Yeah.
But we can also do exactly the opposite, stressing a dog so much out that it falls apart and ends up being reactive.
Yep. And sometimes we have to step in and help out, lend a hand, and that's got to be done right too. So, wow, that's awesome.
Because one thing we have to pay attention when this dog who is with a mentor moves to an adopted home and that mentor is gone, that dog will eventually fall apart. That's why it's important that a dog learns how to connect with people first. So when he moves to another home, that dog knows how to connect to people if there is no mentor dog available.
Because we don't want to create a bonded pair either. Yeah.
Correct.
So, all right. Wow. That's interesting. So so how can we identify when we actually have a mentor dog?
Over time, you see behaviors, you see responses, you see
confidence.
I had my mentor dog was actually a Neapolitan Mastiff who was able to play with a three-legged dog by laying on the ground and fooling around without being on the three legs. And that same dog was able to play with a tough, large pit bull to the level of air fighting. And then at the same time, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, and we can see that the same dog would growl at people who are drunk.
Well, yeah. If I came home drunk, I would get growled at, maybe bit, because my dogs aren't going to recognize me.
Right. So we see this dog has different level of awareness and capacity. And that dog was on the euthanasia list, for example, right?
Right.
And he was so reactive in the car that I was driving and I was thinking, if he bites me, we're both going to be dead while I'm driving on the highway.
Was not an easy dog.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Siggy. It was a Neapolitan Mastiff, Max.
Oh, the Mastiff. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
They're
So
big too.
yeah, these dogs are. Ziggy was a mentor to me, but not to other dogs yet.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he was. Both of them were good readers.
Good.
So
And
it's
Great
like I would
Pyrenees.
say is like a happy marriage. It's kind of you have one or you don't have one. You cannot look for one to get one.
Right.
You're lucky
Right.
or you're not.
And see, I think Fiona, with her personality, the way she's carrying, I think eventually she could be teaching other dogs. Do you see that too? I was paying attention to that.
Well, I would
You
see
can't judge it yet.
no. I would recommend if she would be good with doing that. But what would happen if a dog challenges her?
Well, good point. Yes,
What
there's a
would
lot
she
we
do?
don't know.
Dog challenges me. Was
Yeah.
she able to redirect the dog and start to instigate the game away from me, or would
Right.
she attack that dog to protect me? This is
Or
what
would she run
choices,
away?
right? That could be too. Likely not, but
Likely not. They're not bred to do that.
as a guardian breed, she would likely get involved. But in what way, she would do that?
Yeah. And there's sometimes too. I mentioned that sometimes we make a mistake and we get the dogs together too soon, because sometimes they can misunderstand signals coming from another dog. Even okay. They
Some
gotta
dogs
get to
have,
know.
have a past. You mentioned earlier being used shock collars. Some dogs have learned through shock collars to not show certain signs.
Yeah.
And so
Oh
they
yeah,
become
yeah. That's
silent
impressive.
around that. A dog who expects certain information, that information doesn't come, can likely misread the whole thing.
The shock collar suppresses a dog's ability to communicate.
Yeah.
He has no say in it, and they're just horrible things, and they're not even necessary. Do you
Sure.
agree with that? I saw you shake your head.
Yeah,
You're
I
not,
was
you're
shaking
not
my
a
head.
shock collar trainer. And here's the thing: I don't know about anybody else, but I've been doing this since 1985, and
I shake my head again.
I've never needed a shock collar, a prong collar, and in my case, a clicker or anything. I used the dog's brain, and I didn't know you're supposed to force them to submit by tackling them because the dogs were usually bigger than me anyway. How are you going to tackle a dog like that?
Right.
Besides that, when you connect with the dog, you get in a connection, and he's going to connect back. Okay, and a lot of times relatively quickly. But when you meet the dog, is the first thing you want. The first impression you want a dog to have of you, especially in a livestock guardian breed, is that you're not a threat. You're not going to be there threatening him. Okay, and that's what we try to. We got to start right from the beginning. But so we don't. There's these trainers. I had a dog an Akbash that the family had a shock collar on him, and mom got bit pretty good. He made an association that when he saw that remote, he got pain, and that wasn't going to happen again. And so, but we can't just take the shock collar off, throw it away, because he's already now he's kind of pissed off at mom now. So I decided to make a new association. That took 4 months. So remember that when somebody tells you to put a prong collar on or shock collar on or something like that, remember it took me 4 months to make an association. Dog's still in his home. We're pretty much done. They're going to keep in touch so I can see any signs possibly of anything, but that wasn't easy. That was time consuming.
Unfortunately, people see quick results.
Yeah,
But these are not quick results. These are
that's lingering effects.
These are quick associations, which means
Quick association. Yes.
right. So if I'm a taxi driver and every time I travel a person is going to put a gun on my head and tell me turn left, and I will turn left. I haven't learned anything good about that, but I will turn left. So
Yep.
what's in for me? And so when we use aversive tools to get things done quickly, yes, you can do that quickly, but it comes with a cost that you cannot afford at the end.
Yep. And besides that, if you believe your dog does things for a reason, the shot caller will tell us that no, you don't believe that because he has no say in it. It takes the reasoning out of it. So, but they're just not good. Always remember, they are built and designed first, obviously, and built to do two things: to cause pain and fear. They're designed to do that. So these people that tell you, oh, they don't hurt, they have to hurt. If they don't hurt, they're not doing the job. Why buy it? I'll shut up now.
Well, we should do a, a conversation about that, just that, no other dogs, so we can go in deep tissue here, because I understand where people struggling, like the dog is barking all day long and the neighbor is gonna
Right.
call the animal control. What should
Yeah.
I do? I'm gonna lose my
Get a
home.
bark collar.
Like, what do I
Okay.
do? And we recognize that and we understand, but there are better options and faster options to address those issues once we understand what to do.
And that does make them unnecessary. Boy, we got a comment down here. She's an Aussie Foster, amongst other breeds. Well, I think we're back on maybe the mentor thing here. But thank you for supporting us, Ingrid, in Arizona. It's hot out there. I know that because it's hot here in Ohio. But yeah, I agree, because there's always a way to do it without the need of shock. Okay.
So one thing I want to add, because of 4th of July and disasters in Texas, in other countries likely going to happen too. Be careful. Your guardian breed will jump over the fence, will run off. Make sure you have your microchip up to date. Make sure you have a tag on your dog.
A tag with your phone number,
tag on your
dog's
dog,
name on
and
it.
remember, the tag in the dog will not be visible because it's a guardian dog with long hair. So think of that. So we want to make sure that if your dog gets out, I'm going to post a special post about what exactly to do and what not to do, who
Yeah,
to
have a
call
plan.
and who not to call, right? A plan of action. Because a guardian dog who will run in panic will not remember where he went, and he will not find his way back.
He will get
Not
lost.
fast,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
He will get lost.
Yes.
And guardian dogs will get stressed over time the further away they get from home, which they don't know, but they get. And a guardian dog can travel a lot. He can travel 13, 14 miles a day, and he will be so far away, he will not be able to find the way back.
He's trying
With
to
that
run away
said,
from the sound.
right? So we want to make sure that we understand if another guardian dog shows up on your property and your dogs start being reactive and you want to help that dog, make sure your dogs leave that dog alone and you'll be able to isolate him in the yard so he can walk away if he has to. You cannot contain that dog. The more you try to contain them, the more that means
More
take
grab.
pictures, make a description, see if it's a male or a female. That helps a lot, right? Notice which directions he came from and post it on social media as quickly as possible. Even call animal control and tell them, we have a dog in our area. They would not come. They have better things to do. But
Right.
at least if somebody calls there, right? Usually small community groups have their own communication systems. So see if you join the local community group and tell us, hey, I have a white dog in my property. Does anybody miss him? Like, don't post it on a private Facebook page. Go into local groups and post it.
Right.
It's usually more
And
effective.
remember, that dog is going to be very, very stressed.
Yeah.
And you can get bit from a stressed dog, and they don't even know they bit you.
Right?
Just
Trying
so
to
you
find the
know.
tag.
Right there, Sasha. Thunderstorm. I was distracted on the phone, and Pickles came through my Akbash, and she barked. I calmed her. I redirected her back to me, and I was talking on the phone. I reached down too soon to comfort her. Too soon. Okay. So see, me and Roman, we don't walk on water here. All right. But we recover from our mistakes quickly. I praised her and I apologized to her because I put her into that position. Okay. And you'll never hear me blame a dog. Sorry. But no, I'm not sorry. Anyway, what a show we had today. I like the mentoring. If anybody has any questions about the mentoring or shot callers or prong callers, put them in the comments. We will get them. All right. Roman, you.
We lost the boss.
We lost him. He was having trouble with his internet all day. So we'll see if he can pop back. But thank you so much for talking about the mentor dogs, Roman, because that's something that was on my heart, because my mentor dog just passed away last month, and I haven't openly shared it because I've had her for a long time, so it was really hard. But I sent Steve some videos because she really was extraordinary in that way.
And I got him, and I forgot.
Yeah, and I always referred to her as my second in command, because she would reinforce rules and boundaries in a way that I couldn't. And I think I would, and we knew each other so well that I knew when to let her do that fully and not intervene, because I could interrupt something good that was happening from dog to dog. Just because a dog raises their lip and shows a fang doesn't mean I should step in and be like, stop what you're doing, because that is one dog saying you're crossing the line on something and you need to pull back. And that was something that she taught me, is that I do set the rules and the boundaries, and she helps communicate that when in certain situations. But then I also needed to trust her that she was doing that sophisticated canine to canine communication that kind of was not accessible to me.
Right.
One thing that
I've got them uploading right now. That was the mentor. Whoop. Anyway, not the upside down dog, but the other dog. Is the mentor.
Well, thank you for sharing, and I know how painful it is losing a dog like that. It just takes you a piece of you with them.
Yeah.
We have to notice that some dogs can also mentor our own children and be second in command. I've noticed many times where moms kind of try to regulate their kids, and the kids don't pay attention to mom, and the dog steps in and takes care of business. And then they end up in a shelter because how dare my dog growling at my kids? But mom growls all the time to the kids. And when the kid's running down the staircase, like, stop yelling, stop running, stop doing, and the dog steps in and does exactly that and effectively, then the dog pays the price. So we have to be aware that dogs who are good mentors very often end up in shelters because of the way of interception.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. That reminds me, there was one incident where I had friends bring their, I think he was a 6-year-old kid at the time, and he was being wild and crazy. And Artemis came, and she started to put her mouth gently on his arm to have him calm down. And of course, it's scary looking because you have this big dog with these huge fangs, and she was being really careful. And thankfully, my friends didn't freak out. They understood what Artemis was trying to do, but I was like, okay, I think that the best thing is for the dogs to be in the backyard because I didn't want misunderstanding to happen. And I just calmly handled the situation. But that reminds me, Roman, that she would do that when kids would be wild, and she's like, that's not how we behave in the house.
Yeah.
So and really, I mean, so Samson, my Pyrenees, was everybody's comforter. So he was kind of like the soft buffer, and Artemis was, the second in command. And that is, I feel like their presence and the roles that they played made me be a successful foster. So now that they're both gone, I kind of have to almost have to figure out how to be a foster again, because the dynamic is completely different.
You don't have help.
Yeah, so that is that's part of my grieving process, I think, too, is just that it's very different now. And so I will kind of have to, I'm sure I have my knowledge, but I will have to relearn how to navigate some of those situations because I don't have those two, pillars of my fostering.
That's a good way to put that. Your pillar. She lost two amazing dogs, and not too far apart from each other either.
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah. So, and Artemis by Samson, he was amazing. Artemis was amazing. So, I mean, geez, it doesn't even.
Fiona is showing us her
better than
amazing
that.
tail right now. Yes.
Wow, look at Artemis. If I didn't know better, I'd say that she was a coyote or something like that. You know? Oh boy. Oh boy, look at Fiona.
Yeah, we've got a good tail wag from Fiona right now.
Yeah, Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. By the way, did the dogs get any of that popcorn?
Oh yes.
Okay.
And Artemis only would eat the buttered pieces.
Only the buttered ones. Okay, gotcha. All right. Artemis and I would have been in a fist fight for popcorn. And she would have won. All right, everybody. That's it for this week. Next week, we got an exciting show. I might be in Colorado doing that show too. But we're not doing the show about Colorado. We got Skippy Skippins coming on. And they're going to be doing the whole show because they got a lot of dogs.
Yes, they do.
It's always fun having Stephanie and Jason.
Yeah.
On. They're just
Stephanie
so positive. It's contagious. And we won't have talking points next week, a topic next week, Roman, because there won't be time. The week after, we're going to. And I got, I don't remember what spreadsheet said now, but anyway, I think we got something good going together, I think.
So I just want to remind that if you live in Oregon or Eugene area, I would love to help a dog to learn how to walk on a leash for educational purposes. So I reached out to my community and everybody's like, oh yeah, that would be great. And nobody reached out at the end. So, yep, here we are. My dogs are well behaved, so I cannot show you.
What part of Oregon is the best for them to be in?
Eugene.
Anywhere
in Eugene area. Yeah,
Eugene area. If you're anywhere near there, you got dog pulls on the leash. There you go. holisticdogtraining.org. That site's working, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You was having some trouble with your website. And
I still have troubles with my website. Nobody can reach out to me.
Everybody has trouble with the websites.
Right.
But you got extra trouble because you hired a professional.
Unfortunately, yep.
Yeah.
So just email me would be best.
Yep. So that's Roman at holisticdogtraining.org. Right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, everybody. We're out of here. We'll see you next week. Bye now. Thank you, Roman. What a show we had. Thank you, Kara, for bringing Fiona on. She is gorgeous.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
All right. And nice work, by the way. Bye now.
Bye.